Hello, everyone. Just gonna take it slow in the beginning because I'm not sure that we're live. It says 0 viewership, or maybe that's every week. I don't know. Okay, I think we're live now. Now the view counter is moving. So, hello, everyone, and welcome back to a Rocket Lab Weekly episode 107. We have full house today with Maddie from the block, Scotto, and Dave G. Hello, guys, and how has your week been?
Not bad. I mean, to be honest, I'm a little bummed I haven't gotten a single video out since the last Rocket Lab Weekly. But yeah, you always go through these peaks and valleys, I guess, when you're YouTubing. The time, the motivation, whatever it is, isn't always there.
Yeah, dude, I like my production since I got baby number 4. Like, I have not been able to be back. Like, it's only Rocket Lab Weekly on my channel, and I hope very soon life goes back to normal. He starts kindergarten soon, and we're trying to sleep train him, and then yeah. But I let's hope it's only this week that you had this valley.
Yeah, I know a lot of people love watching Dave's videos. They always post them in the Facebook group that I'm in, and people love Dave's videos and Scott's videos for that matter. But yeah, I thought it was funny. We're like, maybe it's the same every week with the 0 people watching. We've just been talking to ourselves for the past 107 weeks, and it's all just been a complete dream, and it's not real. But yeah, no, a phenomenal week. About 1 or 2% from all-time highs for me, and continues to be fun, and excited to be here and chat with you guys for the next hour or so.
Nice. I had a good week as well. I did hit all-time highs, largely led by EOS. That's just continued to just outperform everything. And I actually trimmed a little bit. I was earlier in the year, I was kind of like looking at the $10 mark, and that was going to be my kind of point to trim. And then the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, no, it's hitting 15 this year. So that'll be my mark. And on Friday, the stock actually went down with all the China-US tariff talk, which to me didn't make a lot of sense because EOS doesn't have to worry about any of those rare earth materials because, well, they just don't have them in their batteries. And also their batteries are sourced, like 91% of their materials come from within the US. So it seemed weird that there was a sell-off on Friday, but then I guess the market just took the weekend to digest and it popped like 23% on Monday. So what was going to be a $15 trim was like a $16.75 trim. So can't complain about that. And bought a bit of Shift 4, not a lot, just maybe like 1% of the portfolio worth. And that's probably going to be it for the next month or so as we kind of head into earnings season. Especially like kind of leading more towards that first week in November where it just seems like all the companies report within that same first week. So yeah, a lot of excitement, but yeah.
Do you mind if I ask, Scott, do you try to keep like a certain level of cash on hand at all times, or
yes,
yeah. So you don't want to be like fully invested or anything.
Exactly, and that's like kind of a point of frustration, honestly, because like I always mention like, oh, I'm trimming, and people would be like, you're missing out on a generational opportunity, and I'm like I don't know, I'm just trying to keep cash for when the rain comes, so to speak. So it's not that I'm like, and to be clear, like I don't think EOS is anywhere close to being done, but it's just like, it's not unrealistic for any given company in the portfolio to have like, negative 20, even 30% on earnings. Like even Tesla has had those in the past. And if that's like a quarter of your portfolio, you're going to feel it, so it's a bit of risk mitigation, but also like just kind of keeping that cash at the like 10 to 15, or sorry, the like more like 15 to 20% level. So yeah.
I must say, I was almost sure last week when I was watching Rocket Lab Weekly, I was almost sure that there would be like a correction this week on the market, and I'm like quite surprised how resilient the market has been. But also like it feels like the market has a every time there is a big surge, like it gets sold off. So like I don't know, it does feel like we're not as bullish anymore. Maybe I don't know what you guys think about the market, but I'm very surprised how well it held up, because as you mentioned, like any company can do 20-30% down on earnings, and I feel like we have had a very big run, and if there is a correction, I think Rocket Lab easily can do 20-30% dip. I think we're already past the 10% dip from all-time highs. Yeah, so what do you guys think on the state of the market?
I mean, yeah, like especially this upcoming earnings season, I feel like a lot of companies, like even the ones that I hold, are kind of priced to perfection, you know, kind of picking on Rocket Lab, even EOS. Like if they don't, like they have such a high bar that they set with in terms of guidance, that it's like if they don't smash, like they're going to get cut like pretty hefty. So like short term, granted, like it's a matter of those orders just being executed on, and they'll I don't know, they'll be here before the market blinks. But yeah, everything's kind of priced to perfection, and if there's any slip ups, they don't tend to get penalized pretty heavily in this type of environment.
To be fair, Rocket Lab's not generally one to miss their earnings, though. Like,
yeah, I guess in with Rocket Lab, it's like if Neutron gets pushed down a little bit, like, or kicked down the road, maybe. But like, I don't know. I think Rocket Lab's a unique situation in that, like, everybody holding is like they could have a poor earnings, and everybody's going to be like, yeah, so what? Neutron, when's that? Like, or they're looking ahead next year.
By the way, we're jumping way ahead, but I just wanted to share this one. So Morgan Stanley came out with a bull case of 68 and bull case of 107 price target for Rocket Lab, and a base case of 68. Now that we're speaking about valuations, and I'm always like curious how the banks get these valuations, right? And then when you go into the details of this, like this is like speak about being priced to perfection. Like they are comparing the price to the 2029 price to sales ratio, and the 107 would be like a 33 price to sales of 2029 earnings. And when I'm reading it, I don't know about you guys, but when I'm reading these, I'm like, it feels like it's not like a forward P, or, you know, like a 2-year forward P. This is like a 4-year forward price to sale that is like 33 is like quite high even today, you know, and that is like price to over perfection to me. But I don't know, what do you guys think about this? Yeah,
I mean, I like to look at least 5 years out when I'm making my DCFs. I think you do as well. So, 2029 doesn't seem crazy. A 33 PE, I would say doesn't seem too crazy either, really.
No. Price to sales.
Oh, price to sales. Oh,
yeah. And it's not discounted. You understand? Like we are today at 33 price to sales 2029.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, I have to take a read on this one.
Mm-hmm. Now, to me, I've always looked at things like what am I buying this for, right? I'm never buying it for tomorrow. I'm never buying it for the next year. I'm always buying it 10, 15 years down the road. And so that was always my thought process with Rocket Lab. Like, where could it develop into? And so, you know, I understand if you look at it today and maybe even 2 to 3 years from now, like what are you going to be executing at that point? But this is a space company. Like, you think about how long of a wavelength it takes for things to get into space, and what we're going to be doing by then, it's just going to be getting started, right? Like, constellation that Rocket Lab is going to have is really just going to start to hit its stride at that point, and we might be at best 1-2 years in to launching the flatelites into Rocket Lab's like meta constellation. So how many can you actually launch? And if you think about it, you're not at the medium term cadence. I'm not going to try to put words in Sir Peter Beck's mouth, but I don't think you'd be at the dream or the medium term cadence that Sir Peter Beck would want, which is 2 neutrons a month, and launching, say, 15 or so flatelites plus for each one of those. So you think about it, yeah, you could say, oh my God, it's 33x 2029 sales, but at the same time, it's like, well, if you think about it, where are we going to be in 2035, right? And how quickly after you get that ramp up, so these price targets, I think a lot of times people take them too seriously. And I think that people just need to understand, like, where do you think the company is really going to be in 10 years time? Not really the next 2, 3, 4. And what are they going to be developing by that point? And so, take some of this stuff with a grain of salt. As you can see, everybody's price targets are literally all over the place. And it's important to see and kind of get into these numbers. This is at least detailed enough where you can say, okay, I could at least poke holes at it. But sometimes you don't even get to have the opportunity to poke holes. Like Bank of America will be like, oh, it's $50. It's like, well, how'd you get to 50? Like, it doesn't even come out with it. You just see a headline, and then everyone's just like, oh my God, it matches what it is today. Maybe I should sell. And it's like, well, and so to me, I always hate when people are like, what do you think the price target is? It's like, well, price target, like, are you talking about today, tomorrow, 10 years from now? And it really also depends upon who's asking the question. What do they want? Do they want it for today, tomorrow? They might be looking for something to moon within the next 2 days. And he's like, well, I can't help you then, my guy. Like, I don't know what to tell you. So I always take these sort of price target sort of things with a grain of salt.
It's interesting that they're saying their base case has a Neutron launch rate of 12 launches per year by 2028. Am I reading that right? Because
yeah.
That's not what the company is projecting.
Is it more or less? Because when I was reading that, I was like, it didn't feel so aggressive, this one.
No, yeah, because the company's been saying like 135 forever, and but 28 is like 3 years from now, right?
Yeah.
And they're talking 12 launches.
Yeah. Because 28 would be year. That's why I'm confused. It's because 2025 is year 1, and then 2026 is year 2. 2027 is year 3. That would be 5, and then they're going 12. Yeah, exactly.
I would say debatable that 25 is year 1, but I guess that's the hope.
You're bringing up a good point. So what if the launch happens in early 2026? Then do you think that that's it for the year? Because I think that then you kind of like the 135 kind of slips into 2026, and then I think that in 2026 we should have still 3 launches, because one got delayed from 25 into 26, and then you could have 4. But yeah,
I think if everything goes off without a hitch, then yes, right? But if obviously you need to do some tweaks, or something about the design might be tough, but you know that there's more than 2 Neutrons currently developed, right? I mean, I think we're all in alignment that they're not working on serial number 1 right now. They're probably working on serial number 2 and 3, and they're still doing testing on serial number 1 to be able to get it to be prepared for flight potentially by the end of the year. So they designed it to be able to develop as many as possible, like as soon as possible, and eventually it'll ramp down over time rather than ramp up.
Yeah. This show is funny. We're like, I had a sequence of orders, like how we should go, and then we're like jumping left, right. But it's the perfect segue. Like we got this Twitter post by Murray J from New Zealand, and this is from Rocket Lab's Warkworth facility in New Zealand. I don't know if you guys remember. It was a few years ago when Rocket Lab bought a sailboat company's carbon composite manufacturing facility in New Zealand, because they were moving to the UK, like the shipping company, and it was kind of like odd and out of nowhere, and we were like, what are they going to use it for? And like this place had a lot of exactly the Sail GP, I think it was the company was called, and it looks like they're using this place to make neutron and electron parts, and this is currently the outside of the place, and there is clearly neutron structures. I don't know if you guys remember when we were on the opening, we were at the first place where the buses were going from, and security came to us, and I think he was speaking to all 4 of us, and he said that they are like keeping it a secret, like when and how Neutron is going to be, but he said that just before Neutron comes to LC3, it's going to be assembled outside of one of their facilities. And then he's like, we're still trying to keep it a secret, but at that point, there's going to be pictures and people are going to be able to see the structures being put together. And like, we can't really hide it. And I'm like, is this what he meant? That, or this is really like the second Neutron? What do you guys think?
My take on that is that the pictures were going to be taken like near LC3, kind of more as a setup there. So it's a little bit surprising to see this facility in particular, because I thought that it would be out of the it was the Lockheed facility, right? That is going to be doing
Maryland, I think, was where they're getting that big carbon fiber printer.
Mm-hmm. So maybe this is just Neutron 1, I guess. That's my take on it.
1 or 2, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I was also like, it was like a head scratcher. I'm like, what is this doing in New Zealand? But okay, so it's not just me. But it's fantastic that the community can take these pictures and go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool. Obviously, I love seeing it. I hope it's number 2, because I was kind of hoping number 1 would be like at least in transit by now to getting towards like the integration facility and stuff like that. Based on where we are in the year. But yeah, maybe they're making the first couple out of New Zealand.
It makes sense,
yeah. And it's also interesting because if we don't start soon seeing a Neutron being shipped to the pad and appearing on the pad, then we might even miss the 2025 launch, because Sir Peter Beck did say that it will stand stacked and assembled on the launch pad for quite some time for all the tests and everything before it will launch. And we're coming up on November.
I'm just going to admit it. I don't think it's going to launch this year anymore. Like I hope I'm wrong. I want it to launch like as much as anyone.
Dave, it's your responsibility to say these things. We can't protect you anymore. If you say, we were like, it's okay to suggest it, but to state it so firmly, the mob is going to come after.
Dave's screen just goes black, and you just it goes white. It comes to again. His chair's just falling over, like he's gone.
He soon gets Charlie Kirk. We see. No, I'm kidding.
It's funny how we've got to that point with Rocket Lab investors on X and online, and okay, but I'll always say what I really believe, and for me, the probability of Neutron launching within 25 is now pretty low. Seeing as how we haven't seen an assembled one, even partially like a first stage, at LC3 yet.
Are you feeling good for Q1 at least?
Yeah, I think that's more reasonable.
Okay, I'm in that same line of thinking as well.
So, I don't know. I'm always an optimist, glass half full kind of guy. I'm curious to see what they say, the commentary that they have, the updates. They always give phenomenal updates during the quarterly results. So I think in 2 to 3 weeks, when you have the opportunity, I'm assuming it's going to be a Tuesday. I don't know if they've released the date for earnings yet, but it's generally the first week or so, first Tuesday, I believe, of the second month of the quarter. So kind of curious to see what commentary they have around it. And I'm assuming that if they know that there's any showstoppers, they'll, with a month and a half or 2 months remaining in the year, I'm sure they would definitely would state something that at least it's going to be in the first quarter versus the fourth quarter.
I don't want to jinx it too, but I heard it's kind of secondhand, but it's out there. Apparently Tim Dodd, the everyday astronaut, mentioned that he's got something lined up with Rocket Lab that he's going to go to LC3 once Neutron is set up. So not saying anybody to follow Tim Dodd too closely, but like on YouTube, yes. But I mean, like physically don't follow him. But if for some reason he's in Virginia, probably a good indicator. But I mean, I guess at the same time, we'd probably see a bunch of photos by then of Neutron being on the pad. So
yeah,
you'd think so. I mean, we've got people out there like, it used to be Wallops Vantage, but I think he changed his handle. But he's giving us pictures all the time, which is great. So you'd think we'd see even before Tim gets there. Maybe.
Yeah. I'm sure we're going to. I mean, like, yeah. we see Neutron structures even from New Zealand where we're not even expecting it, you know, and Wallops is actually being watched by the community. So cool. All right, so now we maybe try to go back to order. So we had a launch this week. It was the first launch, I believe, of Q4. 15 launch in 2023, and 7th mission for Synspective. And it had a special, of course, I don't have a picture of it, special fairing. I think they called it the arrow fairing, where the satellite was a bit too big and was like sticking out of the rocket.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys have? Oh, of course, Matty from the block updated his chart, and Electron is officially 20 launches in the last 343 days. So that is amazing. Cadence going up.
I really like this chart, Matt. The trailing 12-month launch rate. I think it's very useful.
Yeah, there's a few others that I've started to look at as well that specifically focus on 2025. Not sure if you have those, Vince, but basically it shows like even if you were to play out the last pretty much 3 months of the year, if you were to use the same trend line, now that we're at 15, we should be able to get closer to 20. It's actually a pretty interesting graphic. You'll see that you have launches of anywhere between 3 to 5 in a very quick succession. And I think we've always noticed this. And you always have like a month or a month and a half of quiet time. And then you have another 3 to 5. So it's pretty interesting to see because it's maybe I can find it and I'll send it to Vince in the private chat. But I was just thinking is like, I have a question then for Sir Peter Beck in that, man. I don't know if it's just like a optimal time when, the Earth is, rotating, if during certain parts of the year or what have you, if it's better to launch than others. Obviously, I know that's the case, right? For say like Mars missions, of course, that's the case. But I'm wondering just for even like low Earth orbit or middle Earth orbit, like sort of launches, is that important? I would have assumed that it's less important, but maybe it has something to do with weather tracking or something like that. I'm just kind of curious because it seems like, and you can kind of see it here too, right? Like you see like from 500 days to 1,000 days, you'll see like a pretty decent ramp up, but then it flatlines. And then same thing from like 1,250 days to 1,500 days, you see a ramp up, and then it kind of flatlines. And then so you see this like oscillation almost that goes above and below the curve. And it seems like right now we're on a very high step up cadence. And will we be in a flat line for some time, or will we continue? Like, are we going to buck that trend a little bit where you kind of oscillate above and below that trend line? It's an interesting one. I'm kind of curious if this is happenstance and it just happens to be that way, and it shouldn't read too much into it, or if it's something that has an explanation.
Yeah. We let's hope we get an interview again with Sir Peter Beck, and then we can ask him. All right, let me see what we have left. Okay, so then this week there was actually an article posted or written by Sir Peter Beck in Space News, and it's about the Mars telecommunication orbiter. I don't know if you see the article is by Sir Peter Beck. It's funny how they don't write Sir. Yeah,
maybe that's even something he wants. You never know. He might put like by Peter Beck, not Sir Peter. I don't know.
Could be. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys have seen it. It looks like they're really going all in on this Mars telecommunication orbiter, and it kind of makes sense when you read what they're saying, that you can't really do anything on the planet if you have a 8 kilobytes a minute communication with Earth. It's kind of hard to do anything there.
I'll be honest, I had trouble getting through the paywall, so clearly I need to subscribe to Space News because since they, closed that
I don't
off.
think this is behind the paywall. I'm not surprised.
Really? When I clicked on it, I wasn't able to get through.
Really?
But
maybe it's just
I guess other people didn't have that problem. Oh, there we go. Eastern Shore Space Flight. Yeah. He's our man on the ground for the most part.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome here, Eastern Shore. And congrats on your new camera.
Oh, yeah. I donate. Yeah. There's a crowdfunding going for that.
Yeah. It's a good guy. Just wonder why he keeps changing his name. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Anything else interesting from the article?
I mean, that is basically it. Okay. I mean, if we have no more to say about this, then this was all the Rocket Lab news this week. It was not like a big news week. I don't know if you guys want to add something. I have two more like space news generally, but is there anything you guys want to take up in terms of Rocket Lab?
Yeah, I do. The new merch store is out. And so I don't know if we've covered this in past ones. I know I missed one or two episodes, but the new merch store is out. I know I've started to see some people start to receive some of their model Neutrons and model Electrons. And obviously this means when we had a previous conversation with the execs, they basically said like they're gonna have to go through rigorous testing and rigorous design looks if they were ever to make any sort of Lego or model for Neutron. So the fact that they're now selling a Neutron means it is Sir Peter Beck approved, and he definitely isn't going to let some company build some shit product, as we know. And as you can see in my background, as I have a T-shirt hanging up, obviously it's Sir Peter Beck approved. So I'm curious if anybody in the chat has bought one. I know Francisco, I think you bought one. I have yet to order one, but excited to get at it. I've been looking at it. I just haven't hit the buy button as of yet. But feel free to look. There's a lot additional things coming, like backpacks, etc. So always love to see people supporting. And I'm always kind of curious every time you see somebody and they're like, hey, check out this. I'm like, I didn't even know they sold that. Like, that's kind of cool. Like Francisco showed up and I saw him wearing like a shirt and I like hadn't even seen it before. So yeah, it's always kind of cool to see. Anyway, it said it was 400 different pieces.
But is it actually Lego? Is it like, I'm also wondering about this. Like, is it actually Lego or did they?
I don't know. I'm curious to see.
We need to ask.
Yeah, Francisco will be able to tell us.
And by the way, is there anyone who has received this Rocket Lab limited edition book that we all pre-ordered?
Mine's coming November.
Yeah, I think it's first half November, right?
They just gave me an update. Hold on, let me see.
I didn't.
Sounds like it's not Lego official brand.
Yeah, not official Lego. It's not. It's just whatever
But is it like not official Lego? But is it like plastic pieces like Lego that you put together, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry,
okay.
that's what I meant. I didn't mean like actually Lego. I meant I don't know what the term is for the building block thing. But yeah. Mine says the book is arriving November 4th.
Nice.
Okay. Is it the one I ordered for you, or it's your own one?
This is my own one. Yeah.
Fun story. I was ordering my book, and somehow like I ended up ordering it to Matt's address, but luckily I could cancel it. I don't know how it happened.
Because when we were going to LC3, you had a couple things that you sent to my house, so I could bring them for you, if you remember.
Yeah, exactly.
I did have just one more Rocket Lab thing. If you have a minute, Vince, I have a tab there to share.
Okay, 1 second. So here we go.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys noticed this one. BlackRock increased their stake in Rocket Lab by almost 37%, now holding over 30 million shares. So that's now over that 5% mark, 6.2%. So, you're still seeing big institutional buying even during a run like this. I think it just goes to show like it's not like a GameStop situation, you know. Like I highly doubt BlackRock was buying GameStop when that squeeze was going on or anything like that. So just thought that was interesting to track.
Yeah, it is very interesting. I mean, the valuation of Rocket Lab is, as we spoke in the beginning, it's very like, you know, like if you're looking at it like, what is it going to do next week, you get a different answer. What is it going to do 1 year from now? What is it going to do in 10 years? So yeah, and BlackRock, like this would be like, now you guys can correct me, but it would be like 401ks of people, right? Or it would be like pension funds in the US, or what would?
Yeah, I mean, I think they have a bunch of different ETFs and funds and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. So that was definitely very interesting. So the next one, I mean, I feel like we just need to mention this. So ASTS Space Mobile last week has hit over $100. There is a little. Why is my screen not being shared? Here we go. So I feel like it's an honorable mention because there's a rivalry between Rocket Lab and ASTS shareholders, and whenever one stock is higher than the other, you know, anyways, and it's a major achievement. So ASTS beat Rocket Lab to $100 a share. I completely do not get the valuation of ASTS. I did when it was $8. I think I did a video on my channel that I think this could be $64 to $70 stock when their satellites are deployed and, you know, the thing is up and running as projected, but it's a huge question mark because they're still pre-revenue. So I don't know how you get to $100 with, you know, the thing not being fully launched. But what do you guys think? Now I'm getting mobbed by the ASTS crowd, but
someone's gonna clip this and post it on X, and you're done for, Vince.
So disclaimer: ASTS is definitely not my specialty stock. So I but I still think it's worth a mention. So what do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I will say I've come around on the company a bit more since the days when it was like $2-3 a share. I did look at it back then, and I was just so afraid of it going out of business. You know, back in the depths of the space stock winter or whatever you want to call it, when no one could raise any capital, and you know they had this massive constellation build out in front of them, and yes, they had some partnerships and stuff like that, but strangely enough, you know, I think their success is a much more likely now that they have a market cap like this and they just raised more capital. So from that point of view, it helps. And yes, the TAM of the direct to cell phone market does look quite large. So I'm certainly not short them or anything. And, you know, I don't think it's a scam company or anything like that. I would like to see their launches get going, you know, a bit quicker, but we'll see what happens.
I see there's quite a pullback as well. It's closed at 84 as of Friday.
As we were saying, that our space stocks easily can do 20-30% on a pullback.
I'm pretty sure I caused that by screenshotting the stock, so it just proves me wrong whenever I take a screenshot.
Once again, Dave's gonna get taken out with a black bag over his head. AST
Space Mob's coming for all four of us, guys.
But yeah, no, I agree with you. I think the stock has proven that it's able to go way up in valuation, and I think that it's great for being able to raise capital, like you stated. And now it's really just up to getting launch cadence and execution underway, right? And I think that, you know, with a company with very little revenue at the moment, they're still predicting, I think, 50 to 75 million. I think by the first half of 26, if not the first quarter or something along those lines. So fingers crossed for those guys that they're able to really get the launches up, and now it's just about execution. And so wishing everybody well, because of course with success at AST, I think that will be a demonstration of the potential that Rocket Lab may have. I know it's disparate in terms of what they're trying to achieve but I think it'll at least show that the potential is there for space. And so I think, together they're obviously trying to push the industry forward. And so to me, I'm curious to see when these guys execute. Hopefully they execute well, and I'm curious to see how it pushes everything.
Yeah, that's the one thing though, like no real revenue still at this point.
Like for me, that's what is like, because I feel like even if they had revenue, this was like an optimistic valuation, and I'm like, this is like, you have price to perfection, and then we're like price to perfect, like it's perfection, and then a beat is priced in, sort of.
So what is this in terms of market cap? The like 85 to 100 range?
I actually don't know.
I think it's close 100. I think it's close to 50. I think they have about the same amount of shares as Rocket Lab. I think
50 billion.
Yeah.
Just looking now. Or 30 billion as of like $84. That's crazy.
So maybe they have. So I mean they have more shares. Well, they have been diluting. So I guess they have closer to 6. Wait, does that mean they have less shares? I'm not smart. I can't do math in my head.
But I agree with Scott. Like for me, it's shocking, but it's not my stock. Like don't listen to my opinion. I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to ASTS. It's just it's a pre-revenue company, and I'm shocked that it can be. But ironically, exactly as Dave says, like the higher the stock, the safer it is, because then they can raise money and they get a longer and longer runway the higher the stock goes.
I mean, there's some smart people out there that have invested in this. Like, Ampan Man's pretty smart. There's this one professor I was following on X who's been talking about it a lot, and he made some money off of it. So, I try to learn like who's smart out there, because I know I can't follow everything in depth.
Mm-hmm. You can definitely tell like who immediately results to insults versus who actually tries to like bring people along, and so the Ampan Man is he's definitely been someone that's very articulate on the story and has been a very big supporter of it. But I think this is a lesson, like not necessarily specifically on AST. I'm not trying to poke holes at it, but I think that there's still a lot of potential for this company. I think that they have a great story ahead of them, and they have a potential to access a massive amount of TAM, and the market cap reflects that. And I think with that they can raise a lot of capital. But I think there's a lot of other space stocks out there that have been getting a run because of companies with the large potential like AST, and the companies that have been executing like Rocket Lab and Planet Labs and a few others that have been executing and actually getting to a place where they're EBITDA positive. And unfortunately or fortunately, those stocks have been riding on the coattails of the success of the space industry. And so I feel like there is some overinflation of the space industry in general. And so my hope is that people, when they have the opportunity, take a look at this and say, okay, which ones are just going up because the whole space industry as a whole is going up, and which ones can I actually hang my hat on and can ride into the next decade of potential. And so I just hope people are looking at that and being like, okay, this company actually is not. And there are a few that actually have just like completely went to shit. Like Velo 3D was the one that when we first started Rocket Lab Weekly, people kept messaging me every single week. They'd be like, Matt, invest in Velo 3D. And I'm like, this isn't going to work, my guy. Like, I don't think. And of course, now it's a complete penny stock, and hopefully it turns around. I don't want anybody to go bankrupt, but you can tell certain companies just aren't in the financial footing or have the execution to be able to make it work. And so I just want people to realize, like, if you're invested in sort of tertiary or secondary space companies that may not have the financial runway or the execution ability, to just be cautious and tread lightly and use the opportunity. Because like Vince said, these things can drop 20-30% of the drop of a hat, and some of these other companies can drop 80 to 90% depending upon really where they're at and their financial framework. So just be cautious out there. And that doesn't just go for space, that goes for other places that are running very extensively right now as well, like renewables, nuclear. Not to say that all of them are bad, right? There will be the companies that succeed out of this, but when the market pulls back, it pulls back very, very aggressively, and prices that you thought you never get back to will show up again. So just hope that everyone plays caution.
Are you saying it may not be time to go all in on Virgin Galactic right now?
Yeah, that one. I had a lot of hopes for Virgin Galactic back in 2019 when I first invested in it, and man, just that was like a marketing. I'll just say, Sir Richard Branson is a great marketer, and does not have the execution ability of a Sir Peter Beck. If he did, then maybe we would actually have the ability to get some more people into space. But they have been able to get a few. So congrats to Virgin Galactic in that respect. I just expected a better cadence coming out of Virgin Galactic. And luckily I sold all that, likely at a good or break even or a slight profit. I know the covered calls I made a lot of money, but I moved all that into Rocket Lab when I realized that this was back in 21 or 22. Once I realized that, okay.
So you're the guy that made money on Virgin.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I definitely did. Yeah.
Chamath number 2. Yeah. All right. Cool. Very interesting topic. So next one. Again, I mean, we basically segued right into this. Is Planet Lab is another space company that seems to be doing really, really well. I don't follow them as closely as I know. I think Scotto and Dave, you guys follow them very much. Do you guys want to give us maybe a short update on what's happening with them and what we can expect of this company now that they're a defense contractor?
I'm completely out of Earth observation as of recently. I used to hold both Planet Labs and Black Sky, but I sold Black Sky, I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. But Dave, you're still in Planet Labs, right?
No, I sold it several months ago as well. I was kind of disappointed with the growth, and yeah, I mean, on the one hand, it did turn around quite strongly. So would I have done well if I'd stayed in it? Yes. But on the other hand, that cash probably went into Rocket Lab. So I can't complain either. So yeah, but I think there's some signs that kind of righting the ship a little bit here, at least in terms of, growth going forward, I hope.
Like the valuations doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me. Like a price to sales of 15 when they're growing at 20% is kind of hard to wrap your head around. Like, I don't know. It just seems overstretched. And you look at like Black Sky by comparison, like even that's kind of rich, and that's only a 7.5 price to sales. And I think that they're growing roughly the same. I think a little bit faster.
Yeah, I mean, Planet Labs had that bigger war chest and stuff like that. But
yeah. And I wonder too how much of this is kind of led by like Golden Dome and. Kind of speaking out of my lane here, but like my limited understanding with the Golden Dome is that like, I wonder how many people are buying into these being like, oh, they're satellites and they're watching down, but it's not quite realizing it's like, it's not that same type of satellite that's going to be capable of watching for missiles.
Yeah.
Maybe they are. I don't know. I don't think they have good enough resolution. Maybe like Planet Labs announced a new, they're calling it the Owl, and that has like very good resolution. So maybe something like that is capable of tracking satellites, but in their current forms, there aren't any Earth observation companies, to my knowledge, that are able to look for something like that.
Yeah. I mean, 20% growth, I guess, if that's their long-term target, it's not super exciting. So,
yeah. All right. I guess they're not aiming for the moon. They're like just looking at the Earth. Cool. Yeah, I think this was all I had this week. As I said, it was not like a huge news week this week. Sometimes it happens with Rocket Lab. The only thing maybe that I think is worth mentioning, or maybe I can get your thoughts on it, is so everybody seems to think that we got the Golden Dome award and it's not being announced because the government is shut down. And the stock mysteriously ran a lot when it should have been announced. And the way I read the room is that people think it's like the insiders were buying, and it's like common knowledge that, or like an open secret that we did get a Golden Dome contract. So my question is, once the government reopens and if it officially gets announced that we do have this contract, do you think the stock will still run, or is that like priced into the stock? And what would happen if, God forbid, we don't get the contract?
I think you were muted there, Matt. Anyway.
I'm just talking to myself, looking at this.
Yeah, I'm not too sure which Golden Dome contract you mean. Like, I was looking for the SDA one, which I guess could be.
Sorry, that's the one I meant. Yeah.
Well, I guess that could end up being part of Golden Dome too, the whole SDA constellation. I tend to think if there's a big announcement, it could still run up.
And I'm kind of like I'm inclined to think the opposite almost. I feel like it could be like a sell the news type of moment, or maybe even just like a, kind of like how it used to be, like, oh, we had a successful launch, so now we're down 10% on the day. It seemed like every time there's good news for a while, for some reason it'd sell off. And I'm kind of under the impression that so many people are expecting, like kind of what we were saying earlier, like everything feels priced to perfection, where even like the good news is like, oh, like if Rocket Lab does get another contract of like, 500 billion or 500 million, that it could be this like, oh, but it's not 1.5 billion. Like, okay, well, let's get rid of it then. That kind of a thing, where maybe the market's kind of expecting too much from these, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, Rocket Lab's not a new kid on the block anymore. They're kind of proven. So to think that they're going to get just 1% of that pool, probably not,
Okay, cool.
What do you think, Vince? You're always the one asking the questions. I want to hear your predictions.
I mean, I think that the way I read the market is that I think we're very overstretched in the very short term, like on many things. And then I think that the market is looking for an excuse to sell off. And I think that's why, like when, for example, when Trump tweeted, it was like a very violent reaction, because I think that has only been like positive news, and then everybody gets like jittery, I think, and trigger happy, like, oh my God, this is it. Now the market is turning. And again, I've been quite surprised how well the market has held up. And I'm worried that this SDA announcement has a little bit been priced into the stock, because we did run like super much into it.
Mm-hmm.
So
simultaneously, though, we were seeing AST and others run. So
yeah.
It's not only a Rocket Lab phenomenon.
That's very true. I mean, everything is running, right? So So yeah, but I'm a bit like with Scott, that it might be like a sell the news event when it comes out. I wouldn't be surprised, but what do I know?
So you're trying to increase your cash on the sidelines right now, or?
That is definitely what I'm working on. I'm not doing it by selling my portfolio. I'm doing it by like doing anything I can to increase cash, so that I can, send more to the broker account. So that is definitely what I'm doing.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Cool. I don't have more this week. So unless you guys want to say anything, I think this is a good.
Silly question. Am I the only one still buying?
Sounds like it. You're the lone wolf.
Do you mean Rocket Lab in particular, or just kind of in general?
Both, actually.
No to Rocket Lab, but in general, kind of a little bit here and there. Yeah, a little bit.
And then you don't have to answer this question because it's targeted, and I don't want you to also get a black bag put over your head. Has anybody sold any?
Not lately. The last time I sold is at I trimmed. I can't remember the percentage, but it was like 54, whatever that was. Took a little bit off the table.
Awesome.
Nothing since.
Yeah, I took a little bit off the table when I had to buy my new car.
Understandable. Yeah.
I don't know if that
It's been a
counts.
while.
Yeah, I don't
What's
think
that?
that counts. That's just
That,
life.
that doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's life.
Well,
Yeah.
you're selling, I guess, but
Yeah.
yeah, I did buy those options. That was like maybe a month ago. So I guess if you consider that buying, I did buy, but that was always planned to be a short-term trade. Yeah, I don't know. Just gonna play it by ear.
There you go. Okay. Yeah. No, I haven't. Other than covered calls, I haven't sold anything, and I haven't had any of my shares called away. And just liking that, at the $100 covered calls are out now. I feel like even with a strong announcement on SDA or something like that, $100 at least, it might get breached, but at least it gives you enough distance away where you could get yourself out of it. I mean, at that point, it's a $50 billion market cap. So it seems like it's a reasonable place to sell, and if you can make a little bit of money. So I've been trying to look at that myself, and have been making pretty good money on the covered calls side, but no, haven't sold any.
Yeah, I was talking to someone who sold some covered calls at something way up there, and I was like, that does sound tempting, but at the same time,
I mean, I don't want to entice anybody, right?
Don't sell cover calls. Listen to me.
I was
thinking.
I was literally looking at this the other day because I was like talking to my buddy, and I was like, man, you can get $2.50 at the time. Now the prices are retraced a little bit, but when it was up around $68, I was like, damn, for $100 by the end of the month or something like that, you could get $2.50. I was like, considering a lot of the shares I bought below $4, you think about it, it's like you could almost, with a month or two, get a lot of your initial cost basis back. But of course, then you can end up in a situation like Mr. Vince.
Yeah, I mean, I remember thinking about it. Rocket Lab was like maybe $45-50 a share, and I'm like, well, I've already got a 10x in like a short order. Surely, like, it can't run that much more, and covered call could be safe. I never did it, but it was tempting. And here we are, $72. Like, obviously it dropped back down, but
somebody
never know.
Yeah, somebody wrote to me that they're like, yeah, I'm in a similar situation like you with the cover call. Like, I have $50 strikes, and I can roll them to 60 until April with no cost. And I'm like, dude, your situation is so different. Thank God that you can do it,
Well, that's what I'm saying, right? Like, you're like sitting there, like, don't sell cover calls. I'm like, I'm talking about selling cover calls at 100. Unfortunately, for you, right? It is a different situation. It's like if it does actually breach 100, I mean, I think I would have the ability to roll it out, and eventually you would have some sort of leveling off. I mean, I don't see this going to a $200 billion market cap tomorrow. But if it did, hey.
Yeah,
Famous last words.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what I have learned is like I will only do cover calls like if I actually have the intention to sell. Like otherwise it's like the stupidest thing that you can do ever. Like,
I feel like I remember saying something about that.
Yeah, some people. It's funny. I don't know why. Like, I learned the best on practice. Like when I make my own mistakes on everything. It's like, yeah.
That is a good question. Andreas has brought up a good question. Do you still have that spreadsheet of all of our predictions? We're getting close.
Yeah. I do.
Can we pull it up?
It might be spoiling a future episode, but
okay. Did we have a plan for that?
Okay. Yeah, good point. So
maybe we hold off.
I would like that one. I think is planned for a Christmas New Year's episode when we.
Cool.
When we look at it.
Let's do that. Let's keep the anticipation up.
Yeah, exactly.
Tune in for Rocket Lab 115. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I mean, somebody's asking what happened to Vince cover calls. I mean, like the thing is that like I don't know the audience how much you guys know about like selling options and how the options are priced, but so when like when your option goes too much in the money, like the theta starts becoming like the time value of the option starts like not counting. So meaning when you're like extremely deep in the money and you want to roll, like you don't really get paid for the time anymore, meaning that like you basically become in a situation that you like have to like whatever the like if your strike price is here and the stock price is here, you just have to eat that difference. And it really sucks. And like at this point, I'm not sure that I have the possibility to roll my my cover calls. So that's going to be interesting. So if when I get my shares taken away, then I will have to see where the stock is and then reposition back in. But as I said, it's like the stupidest decision ever to sell cover calls on a company that I wanted to hold for the absolute long term. Yeah.
Did you ever think about like just closing out that, taking the hit on whatever it was, and just reopening?
I did. But the thing is that you like there's a premium to closing it early, right? And then I don't have like because when like it was maybe a month ago, or I think I was even speaking to Matt about this when we were in the US, that I was like seriously looking at it, but I don't have a like I'm not a person who's like, you know, like Jeremy financial education that like I buy 20 stocks. So like I don't have another thing that I can position into. And then because there's a premium to get rid of it, I'm like, yeah, I just wait. So yeah, whatever. It's the stock market is a marathon, not a sprint. So yeah,
that is true.
Yeah, I've there's a lot of different ways. I mean, options give you flexibility to an extent, and there's a lot of different ways. Like you could sell puts and use that premium to help roll out, but at the same time that puts you in a different situation, especially if you're already on margin. So it kind of puts you in like a, do you really want to double down that much on certain things? So it's tough.
Yeah, it is what it is. Okay, cool. Well, thank you guys. I think this was a very good episode. And thanks for the audience for coming. Thank you for the stickers and memberships that was gifted during the live stream. It's much appreciated. And yeah, see everyone next week. Yeah. May your sky stays blue and stock stay green. Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Ciao, ciao.